Okay, artificial intelligence updates, March 7th. Oh, I should have made a picture of March 8th. Today is International Women's Day, so prepare flowers. Anyway, as you see, a lot of updates as usual. This is picture about the latest QwN model, which is better than DeepSeek R1, or definitely comparable. And anyway, let's start with Alibaba's model. So it's a new reasoning model with only 32 billion parameters, and it outperforms DeepSeek R1 and OpenAI O1 Mini on some benchmarks. It is open source, Apache 2 license. It is 20 times smaller, so DeepSeek R1 is 20 times bigger than this model, and they're comparable, right? If you run it on the server, it's very, very affordable, and well, because it's small. So you see, it's 20 cents per million tokens, out, which is much cheaper than when you're running R1 or 1 Mini. So these are some links. What I have done, I downloaded from Alama. So this is a specific command I used to install this version of quantized 4-bit version. The file is about 20 gigabytes, and when it's running, that's about the size it takes in memory. And on my laptop, it was running close to 10 tokens per second, which is pretty fast. So it is based on QwN 2.5 32 billion parameter model. Just they added reasoning on top of it. And what they have shown by this approach that reinforcement learning can continuously improve the performance, especially in math and coding, and that the continuous scaling of reinforcement learning can help medium-sized model achieve competitive performance against gigantic MOE model like DeepSeek R1. So here you see the post on Twitter, and you see that red is this model, Alibaba model, and blue is DeepSeek R1. And you see that they're very close. Sometimes QwN even goes ahead. Sometimes, yeah, you see considerably. So yeah, this is a great model, and we can start using it. This is quite amazing. On your laptop, you run model which is on par with the top models. Next is Inception Labs Mercury Diffusion LLM. This is very interesting. So first of all, Inception Lab is of course a startup in Palo Alto, California, founded by some professors. They all look very young. And so they're using a diffusion model. Diffusion models usually used for image generation, like text to image, like Stable Diffusion is a good example. And the way diffusion models usually work, they start with like a rough estimation, and then as it goes, it becomes more and more and more detailed, right? So it's not like a regular LLM, which is autoregressive, where it generates one token at a time. Here, it first generates a rough text and then improves it, improves it, improves it. So this is the first successful application of diffusion to discrete data such as text and code. There were multiple attempts, by the way. So Mercury is up to 10 times faster than LLMs, 1,000 tokens per second on H100s. And yeah, and it's available on the playground. You can play with it. Diffusion models usually are much smaller than LLMs and faster. So, and I guess cheaper. Current LLMs are autoregressive, which is transformer architecture, meaning that they generate text left to right, one token at a time, sequentially. Diffusion models operate as a coarse to fine generation process where the output is refined from pure noise over a few denoising steps. Diffusion models are not restricted to only considering previous output, so they're not sequential. They're better at reasoning and at structuring their responses. And because diffusion models can continually refine their outputs, they can correct mistakes and hallucinations. For these reasons, diffusion powers all the most prominent AI solutions for video, image, audio generation, including Sora, Midjourney, Refusion, and diffusion models are usually relatively small and can run quickly. So this is a big thing. This model is a big thing. So it's comparable with big models. It's very fast. It's very small. It's very cheap. So this is an example. The regular autoregressive LLM took 75 iterations, where diffusion, much faster, took only 14 iterations to do the same coding, write a function for LLM inference, whatever. Next, another big thing is Jamba. So just to remind you, in December 2023, there was a research paper from Carnegie Mellon and Princeton which introduced Mamba. And Mamba is architecture to generate text without using transformer, without using attention mechanism. Attention mechanism has N2 complexity, well, because they're using attention matrix N by N, right? So this was an attempt to use a different architecture, which is called state space model, SSM architecture. The goal was to try to find a way to work with long text and avoid this quadratic complexity. So handling long sequences with linear complexity. So Mamba was a purely research project. The paper was based on a very small set of data and short sequences. But then another place, which is AI21, this is a startup in Israel, and they created a model called Jamba, and this is a completely different beast. This is a real thing. So first of all, it's a hybrid model. It uses transformer, it uses Mamba, and it uses mixture of experts, all in one thing. It's pretty big. It's like 398 billion parameters, so it's about 400 billion parameters. So it's a big model. And yeah, but it's comparable. So they released Jamba 1.5 in July last year, and it was on par with the Gemini 1.5 Flash or Gemma 2 27B. Well, you can say 27 billion parameter model from Google is about the same as like 400 billion parameter this different architecture. But still, it's comparable, it's real, it works it's in leaderboards. And what they have done now, they made a new version called Jamba 1.6. So it was just released. It is improved. They claim they outperforms Mistral, Meta, and Cohere in several benchmarks. And you see here, like red is this new version. Looks good. So speed, yeah, it works very fast versus what is this? Just a second. This is the score. How hard are the questions? So it can answer very hard questions very fast, which is good. You see, I like this picture. So they took Mamba from Carnegie Mellon and Princeton and converted it into Jamba. And yeah, so again, Israeli startup, promising model, climbing up. The latest version is not on leaderboard yet, so we'll just maybe see next week or several weeks later. Okay, next, DeepSeek R2. Well, it's upcoming. It was not delivered and tested yet, but what they're claiming is that it is like R1, but it supports more languages, which is very important, multilingual, better coding, better logic, cheaper, and likely multimodal, image and video, because R1 is only text. But again, we will see. Everybody is very excited about this announcement. Next, about Nvidia future. So this year, we should see Blackwell Ultra. And in 26, we should see the new architecture, which is called Vera Rubin. Again, it is by TSMC as usual. Everything is done by them. It's a 3 nanometer process, uses fast memory. So this is Vera Rubin. This is actually an old picture when she was young. She is a very famous astronomer. Well, she has died about 9 years ago. Anthropic Claude Code. I haven't used it. Agentic coding tool in beta research preview, and yeah, so suppose you can use it from command line to do your coding. Identify models from output with 97% accuracy. This is great. So this is by this gentleman, Min-Ji Sun, researcher from Carnegie Mellon University, and he was able to develop a model to distinguish, to tell which model you're dealing with just looking at the output. So distinguish between models with 97% accuracy. And the models he was comparing are ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Google Gemini, Anthropic Claude, and XAI's Grok. Yeah, so this is the paper. You can read about it, but this is great, right? So people can use this approach, of course, to deceive the leaderboard, because when you vote, you can, before voting, you can take the output and ask this model which model have created it. Oh gosh. More updates. Google DeepMind, Project Astra develop universal AI assistant. Okay, so this is a good project, accessible via Android and smart glasses. Cohere Aya Vision from open research arm of Cohere. Cohere creates systems, AI systems for enterprise, but this is open research, so state-of-the-art vision model, 8B, 32 billion parameters, 23 languages, text to image, image to text, visual question answering, 8 billion parameter, the smaller version of this model outperforms Qwen 2.5 visual model 7B and Llama 3.2 11 billion vision. Okay, 32 billion model outperforms Llama 90 billion vision. So looks like a good model, open weight, available Kaggle and Hugging Face. TokenSwift accelerate generation of ultra long sequences up to 100,000 tokens while maintaining quality, lossless, reducing computation time from hours to minutes. So TokenSwift project, it's on GitHub. Next, Microsoft Long Raw P2, near lossless LLM context window scaling. Very interesting. So you take any pre-trained model and magically extend effective context window using this approach. So this is the archive article. Microsoft Dragon Copilot, listen and create notes. I'm not sure why it's called Dragon. Remember there was Dragon Voice software, maybe related to that. So AI system for healthcare, multi-language ambient listening and note creation. So let's say you're visiting the doctor, this system is listening the conversation and generates notes of this doctor visit automatically. So natural language dictation, clinical evidence summaries, referral letters, and so on. So goal is to free doctors from administrative burden of writing the notes. Sesame, CSM, Conversational Speech Model. This is actually very, I would say amazing. If you just go to this YouTube video and watch how he talks, really, it doesn't sound artificial at all. It's like you're really talking to a human who has emotions and hesitations and like really amazing. Sesame CSM. Structured data extraction from unstructured content using LLM schemas. So this is description of this work and how it works. Okay, chain of draft. Thinking faster by writing less. Prompting technique from Zoom researchers. So this is article and this is video about it. This is actually quite revolutionary approach. But anyway, Google Data Science Agent in Colab. Well, Colab is Jupyter notebooks in the cloud. It has free and paid layers. So now you have access to the agent. You can tell the agent what you want, just upload your data, and tell it like visualize trends or build optimized prediction model or whatever you want, and it generates the notebook for you. Like, again, quite amazing tool if you're a data scientist. TSMC 100 billion building 3 plants in the US. So they investing in US, so it's a manufacturing of chips. Like this company supplies 90% of the world's most advanced chips to firms like Apple and Nvidia. And this is a huge investment in US territory. NextGenAI, a consortium with 15 leading research institutions using AI to accelerate research and transform education. Again, big project, OpenAI. Nvidia dominates the AI market. This is absolutely amazing how much money they make. So they're pulling 31 billion in last year with 70% margins. Microsoft AI and Cloud made only 3 billion. IBM followed with only 2 billion. So you see, but here you have 31 billion. It's like 10 times more than others. Okay, Microsoft is shutting down Skype in May, so it's coming. Skype being removed. Fast growth of AI companies. I just wanted to put together some numbers. OpenAI is set to close a deal for like 300 billion valuation. Anthropic has just raised 3.5 billion at 61.5 billion valuation. XNI in talks for a new financial round at 75 billion valuation. It is up 40 billion from just about 2 months ago. So it's amazing growth, very, very fast. CoreWeave, so this is a AI cloud company, and they filed for IPO, valuation 35 billion, revenue skyrocketed 700% in 24. And they also just bought weighted biases. I really like YouTube videos of weighted biases. It's a well-known company. Anyway, China buys Nvidia, and there is a lot of investigation going on. But despite the fact that US has regulations against exporting Nvidia chips to China, China still gets them. But it gets them through other countries like Malaysia, Taiwan, Vietnam, Singapore, just to name a few. And this is real, this is proven. Apple released their new computers, and I put it here because they released a Mac Studio which may have more than 500 gigabytes of RAM. And what it means is that you can run big model on just one Mac Studio, which is sitting on your table. So this is from the website. I just went there. So let's say you select this configuration, 512 gigabytes memory, 1 terabyte SSD storage. The price is about $10,000. Yeah, expensive, but there's just one computer capable of running big models. Another thing, if you will decide to spend this money, don't buy more storage, because there is a project. Polysoft is a company which gets funding on Kickstarter, and they produce those disks which are much cheaper than buying storage directly from Apple, and they are compatible. Well, they did it for the previous version. For this new version, probably you need to wait a couple of months before buying them. But you see, 8 terabytes is only 1,000 UK pounds, so it's much cheaper than from Apple. Next, these two gentlemen received Turing Award. So this is Andrew Bartow and Richard Sutton. They are famous for writing this book, Reinforcement Learning, many years ago in 1998, so it's like 27 years ago. It is on Amazon, you can buy it, of course. And they put foundation for reinforcement learning as we know it. All these reasoning models, all the DeepMind, which is now Google DeepMind, started with Atari games. So what they did, they were doing reinforcement learning. Reinforcement Learning, an Introduction by Richard Sutton and Andrew Bartow, 1998. What they're talking about in this book, so this is a short summary. Reinforcement learning, learning from interaction rather than from provided examples. So Regular machine learning, supervised learning, you show examples. Reinforcement learning, you learn from trial and error. So you have an agent which somehow figures out what to do in the environment. So agents can learn optimal behavior through trial and error with delayed rewards. So for example, if you're playing a game, you don't know if this particular move will help or not. You will only know at the end when you win or lose the game, right? Delayed rewards. How an agent can learn from interaction to achieve a goal. Markov decision processes, dynamic programming, computing optimal policies. In reinforcement learning, policy is a very important idea. Monte Carlo methods that learn directly from experience without requiring a model. Temporal difference learning. A function approximation technique to handle large state spaces. Policy gradient methods for directly optimizing policies. The exploration-exploitation dilemma in reinforcement learning. All this terminology today over and over again in all the reinforcement learning models. So these guys, they really put the foundation and all in one book. In reinforcement learning, also the key idea is positive reinforcement, so-called good puppy training, rewarding desired behavior, right? So this is a picture of, I guess, golden retriever puppy. Next, these are four people. This is the China Fantastic Four, which lead startups. Well, maybe not like today's startup, like for example, this company is 2006, but this is a new generation of entrepreneurs. And here we have Liang Wenfeng, which is DeepSeek, and company was founded just 2 years ago. And we have ByteDance, which is a huge company, valuation $400 billion, right? We have Unitree with humanoid robots, and we have drones. Okay, next, Larry Page started yet another company called Dynatomics, and what they're doing is AI design. His main person is still the same Chris Anderson, who was leading the previous company called Kitty Hawk, which stopped the operation. It was like electrical planes. Didn't pan out, my understanding, but this new company is AI to create highly optimized design for manufacturing and actually then build them, manufacturing them. So they're just starting, like everybody very excited to see what Larry Page will come up with. Mistral released their OCR, which is optical character recognition. And this is very good thing. So what it does, it takes documents as images or PDFs as input, and it outputs markdown with text and images. So it can extract text, tables, formulas, and images from the original documents. It's very good at understanding the tables, the formulas, like complexities, multi-column. It's multilingual and multimodal, meaning it can understand the images. It is very fast, and currently they provide it as a self-hosting options for clients dealing with highly sensitive or classified information. Next, Manus AI Assistant. I couldn't find where the company Manus is actually territorially, where their headquarters. People say they're in China, but I'm not sure. But what it is an assistant which you can ask to do something. Like, for example, here, resume screening, property research, accessing its own compute instance, web browsing, coding, creating visuals. On their website, they provide multiple examples of how you can use it. And here is this GAIA benchmark. So it stands for General AI Assistant Benchmark. And Manus AI is the black one, and you see that it outperforms competition with a big margin. So if you want to have assistant in your office, this may be a viable option. Next, crowdsource LM Arena. There's not much changes from last week. Grok is on the first place. GPT 4.5 preview went ahead of Gemini models, but still not ahead of Grok. And for coding, we see, where is coding? Oh, I misplaced the colors, sorry. But we have, okay, I'm completely confused because this is supposed to be Gemini, this is supposed to be Grok, and I guess GPT 4.5, it's supposed to be yellow. Okay, and where is, oops, okay, I'll do it later. Where is Claude? Here, 3.7 Sonnet. So it's well, it's up because it used to be well down. So sorry, I didn't change the colors of these spots. Anyway, these haven't changed the web dev arena. So Claude 3.7 is leading. This is about jobs, the latest layoffs. So far in 2025, we have about 35,000 workers laid off, and recently we had in just 1 week 7,000 people in Autodesk, Hewlett Packard, on Semi. Okay, these are year by year, so we had 90,000, 190,000 in 23, 95,000, and this year we will see, but we'll probably will have something similar to last year. Tech employees impacted by layoffs, so this is month by month, 12 months. So far, not many in March. Okay. Oh, I made a list of things I'm subscribed to. So when I go to Google search, I have this feed which is called Google Discover, and it's mostly AI related stuff. Google makes decision what to put in the feed based on my own browsing history. These are YouTube subscriptions, not all of them, but some of them. And these are email subscriptions, emails which I receive daily or weekly. So you can use this Explorer, maybe subscribe to some of these sources. Okay, this is me, and thank you.